And here we are at the reviewing area, and here we have the PlayArts Kai Final Fantasy VII Advent Children Sephiroth on the reviewing area. Now, to give you a little bit backstory of what Final Fantasy, the franchise is, it is a video game series, but they did made not all, but a few movie adaptations of Final Fantasy of the Final Fantasy series. And this is in one of those movies, which is Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, which is a movie based off the video game series. And the very first Final Fantasy game was released in 1987. And it was Square's, which is Square Enix's, created by Hironobu Sakaguchi. Yeah, it was created by this guy named Hironobu Sakaguchi. Originally released for the NES, which is the Nintendo console that came out in the 1980s. Final Fantasy was remade for several video game consoles and is frequently packaged with Final Fantasy II in video game collections. The first Final Fantasy story follows 4 youths called the Warriors of Light, who each carry one of their worlds, 4 elemental crystals which have been darkened by the 4 elemental fiends. Together they quest to defeat these evil forces, restore light to the crystals, and save their world. So, yeah, Final Fantasy has been around for a long time. Like, it's been around since the 1980s. The mid well, actually, it was the late 1980s, because the very first video game came out in, like I already told y'all, 1987. And as for Final Fantasy VII, which this figure is from, I'm doing a little bit of research here. Real quick. The Final Fantasy VII game, because the Final Fantasy VII game came out first before the movie. The game was released in 1997. Yeah. was released on the PlayStation 1 console. Yes. And that there is other that there is another Final Fantasy VII game that just came out today for the PlayStation 5. The new game console, which is just called Final Fantasy VII Remake or Rebirth. I think it's called. Yes. It is. It's called Rebirth. The new Final Fantasy VII game called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth for the PlayStation 5. But the very first Final Fantasy VII, like I already told y'all, came out in 1997. Yes. And the movie, which this figure is from, called Final Fantasy VII Advent Children, came out in the mid to 2000s, somewhere in the mid 2000s, which was 2005. Yes. So now that that's out of the way, I do want to say right off the bat, I have not played any Final Fantasy games for a long time with my dad. But my dad and me both remember playing a game that's for the PS1, which is kind of like Final Fantasy, but not really. It's called The Legend of Dragoon. And if any one of y'all remember that game, let me know in the comment section below. If y'all remember the PlayStation 1 game of Legend of Dragoon. Because Legend of Dragoon and Final Fantasy, from what I know, because I've never played any Final Fantasy games, and neither my dad, or I think he had. I may need to ask him. But Legend of Dragoon and Final Fantasy kind of have that same game look to it. Where you're moving your character around from different worlds and exploring, like, adventures. Kind of like in like the Legend of Zelda games, if you know what I'm talking about. And why did I get this figure, you may ask? If I've never played any Final Fantasy games. Well, like I already told y'all, I never played any Final Fantasy games a long time ago. But I do always remember the movie which this figure is from, called Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. And I still do have it on DVD after so many years ago, because it came out in the mid-2000s. But I remember the movie more than I remember the game, which this figure is from. And I will have to say, out of most of the movie video game adaptations, I will have to say Final Fantasy VII Advent Children is like my favorite movie video game adaptations of it. And I even do like the soundtrack in it, because the soundtrack is amazing, and so is the rest of the movie, to me. And Sephiroth is like, in the movie and in the game series of Final Fantasy VII, is like the villain. Like, he's the bad guy of the series, both in the games and in the movie. So now that that's out of the way, let's now take a quick look at the figure. So let's get a closer look at the head sculpt here. And the head sculpt is and does look really nice looking all around. And the hair here does have like a silver-ish, like a silver paint wash to it. And on the bottom here, you can see at the very bottom of the hair, it does have like a translucent effect here. You can see here. And I do want to getting closer look at the eyes here, because the eyes are also nicely painted. Yeah, there we go. You can see his eyes are nicely painted and sculpted. And going down to his suit here, which does look really nice. And he does have some painted and sculpted in belt buckles from the top all the way down to his skirt here. And he even has some belt buckles on his legs here. and and showing y'all the shoulder pads, which has some little scratches here on both shoulder pads. And also, he does have like a little bit of weathered. I don't know if y'all can see it, but he does have like a nice black wash weathered look, like on these things here. And going down to his arms, which do have these like bracelet things, and his hands, and going down to his legs here, which are nicely sculpted, and his boots here are, yeah, his boots here, which do have some like brownish lining around it. And here's the side view here. And the back here. And the other side here. And all around, he does look really amazing and really cool looking all around. Although my figure, this shoulder pad on my figure doesn't really want to stay down. Like you can see, it's just popping up a little. But I think you could fix that with a hair dryer to kind of let it stay down. And like I said, all around, he looks amazing. Now, for articulations, now, the articulation he does have, but you do want to be really careful of how you're posing it, because some of his articulation is kind of restricted due to his suit all around him. So I'm gonna try and show off what I can. Starting off with the head here. The head can rotate on the head itself, and the base of the neck. Yeah, okay. So the head is on a ball joint, and the base of the neck is on a ball joint as well. And and the hair piece. Now, I don't know if y'all can see it, but it is on its own joint. Yeah, you can see right there. Hear that click there? It's on that joint right there, which can go up, but it only goes up about one click. Yeah. It only goes up a little, about one click. But he can look down that far, and he can look up just like, well, just only up about there, if you try to get the hair out of the way. But I would not force it up, because you may end up damaging some pieces of his hair. Arms can rotate all the way around, but of course, due to the... Yeah. The arms do rotate, but of course, due to the shoulder pads, they are kind of restricted. But they can move in and out on a ratchet. You do get a bicep swivel, ratcheted elbows, and the hands do have a hinge joint here, and the hinge joint, I don't know if you can see, yep, is on a swivel, and the hand itself is also, you can see here, on a swivel as well. So depending on what position you have the hand and the joint, you can get it into some good poses. Now, I think he does have articulation on the torso area, because I do see that little cut joint, a little cut there on his chest here. So I think it does move. Yeah, I think it does move, but due to his suit, you're not really gonna get it in good poses. Well, you're not gonna be able to move it around due to his suit here. But he does have waist articulation, you can see here. And these skirt things do, well, they're not on their own joints like Dante's were. They just kind of flex out some. Like, in other words, they only move out just a little bit. But the legs, they do move forward. Yeah, okay. They only move forward about there due to the skirt thing. And they can move back, but of course, the skirt does hinder it. But they can move in and out some, and you do get a thigh swivel, double jointed knees, on a ratchet, and the hips, from what y'all heard, is also on a ratchet. And the feet do move up and down on a ratchet, and they do swivel. They do swivel at the ankle itself, and I think on the, yeah, and also on the foot itself, it does have an ankle pivot, and he does have a toe joint. And that's it. So the articulation is there, but you're not going to get like a lot of posability for this guy due to the restrictions of some areas from his suit here. So if you get this figure, just don't try to force it, because you'll end up ripping some things or damaging some of his suit. And now for accessories. He really doesn't come with a lot. Just only a few. So first we're going to start off with the hands, because he does have interchangeable hands. So the ones that he has on him now are the closed fists. But he does come with two relaxed hands here and one like posed hand. And one that I dropped. And one gripping hand here. And so swapping the hands is really easy. You just pull off the hands and from the peg and replace them with the new pair of hands here. And the next accessory that he comes with is this really long sword. Yeah, this is a really long sword he comes with. And to show you how tall it is, yeah, it is really long. And getting a closer look at it, you can see it just has some gold paint here and here, and some nice like detail work on what I'm assuming is like the fabric detail work. And of course the blade here of the sword is all silver painted. And, and of course he can hold it in his hand, but only for that gripping hand, which is this one here. And you just slide it into here. And there you go. And you can have him hold it in his hand like this. And the next accessory that he comes with is this feathered wing here that goes on this side here. And it is interchangeable on the back part, because this part here is the back piece. And I will show y'all how to do it. But getting a closer look here of all the nice feathers here on both sides. And as you can tell here, it is on multiple joints here, and also on swivel joints. So it can move. It can move here with a very good ratchet, and it can also swivel here, and I think it has a swivel joint here. Well, it might have a swivel here or not, but I'm not gonna force it. But it can also move here on a ratchet with a swivel here, and I think here. And of course here, and swivel joint here. And also here as well. So that's that. And it is a really big feathered wing here. But to interchange the wing part here onto Sephiroth here, on the back of Sephiroth, you do have to remove this part here. There, you can see there, There we go. You have to remove this part on these two holes into those two pegs there so you can attach the wing part here to have it that look there. And I am going to have to zoom out some. And I am going to try it. There we go. So you can have that look going on there. But I am going to put back the non-wing one. And it is kind of a little top heavy due to the heaviness of the wing, but you just have to adjust it at an angle. Well, at a good angle, so that way he doesn't fall off like this due to the heaviness of the wing here. And he does come with one more accessory, which is the last one. And that is, this figure does come with an included stand, which is this here. And these claw things are kind of loose. But I will have to tighten up this part. Because what I was going to say next is this stand that does come disassembled when you get this figure. And it comes on this sprue sheet here that you have to snip out to attach everything on. Well, not everything, but just just some things that you need to assemble to make this base here, because as you can see here, there are some extra pieces that you could use if you want to. Like these two things and also this thing here that's on this sprue sheet here. And you also get 3 of these washer screw things that you also have to assemble onto the stand here. And he does come with 3 of these things here, but you only need 2 to assemble this stand here. And it goes on by this part and also this part here. And another thing that you get to help screw in these screw things is you do get this little tool here. And what this does is this helps you feed in these head things onto these holes here. And you just twist it to make sure it's tight enough, but not too tight, just tighter enough. So that is really neat. And I do like accessories that gives you a helpful tool. And for the stand itself, you can see it does attach here, like I got it on. And I think you can, yep, you can attach it on the hole in the middle here if you want to. And as for the arm itself, I will have to remove it here. You could see there's multiple holes here that you can fit it on this peg, whether you can have it shortened or if you want it longer. So you have options there. And this is hanging loose, which y'all have been eyeing on, which I am going to try and tighten up. There we go. There we go. And as for the claw here, it can move up and down here. It can rotate here. Oh. That wasn't supposed to happen. Okay. But as I was saying, it can rotate here, move up and down, and rotate here, and of course the pinchers can open and close. But you do, well, like I already said, have another option of pinchers here, which, from what I can see, these are like the smaller ones, but the ones I got are the longer ones here. Yeah. And for these smaller ones here, like y'all already saw, it does come with its own adapter thing here. So I think you do have some options there. But there is one thing that I do not like on this figure. And it's not about the figure. I meant to talk about the stand here. it's nothing wrong with the stand. The stand does look great. Oh, and he does, and you can attach to him on the stand for no problems, as long as you got those screws tightened up some, so that way it's not a looser grip if you don't have these screws tightened up enough. And it just come apart again. So what I was trying to say is, the problem that I don't like about it, it's not about the stand. It's about the way it's packaged. And to show you it, I'm going to have to get Sephiroth out of the way, because I do need to show y'all this. So here's the insert here. And you notice these tear things all around? This is where you would display what you would see the stand inserted here. But the way they did it is they made it like you remember my review of the Transformers Authentic Wheeljack, where I was unboxing it, where I had to tear the box apart? Well, this has the same thing here. In other words, the stand is like packaged in a clear plastic window thing, where you have to tear it all apart. But I do want to, I would be very careful of how you're tearing off the plastic insert here, where the stand was here, because on the sides here, on both sides, is where the instructions are. Because yes, both sides here on the insert here are the instructions you can see here. Like, this tells you how to connect the stand together here. And this side just shows you how many accessories it comes with, and how to interchange his wing, and how to have him hold his sword. So this type of idea of packaging the stand before you assemble it is not for me, because I would have liked if it was in like a little plastic baggie, instead of just on a clear plastic window thing where you have to tear it off. This is not for me. Oh, and before we get to our final thoughts, I almost forgot it. for a size comparison, here he is next to the Play Arts Kai Dante from Devil May Cry. As I try to get him to stand up here. So you can see how they look together side by side. Because they're both made by Play Arts Kai. So there's that. And that is all of the accessories you get with this figure. So, we will be back with our final thoughts. Well, my final thoughts, because I'm the only one reviewing this. So, stay tuned for the final thoughts.